Well, so here we go. This is Mason Singer, my bud, and he's going to give me a short interview here in the CVMC, where I almost didn't make it here, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't be anywhere.
So, what kind of questions would you like me to ask?
Ones that have answers.
But like, just sort of general category.
Oh, just how did this happen? What was it like?
What happened? Your experience.
Yeah, my experience.
Yeah. Well, now you've got a lot of experience, Jim.
Yeah.
But specifically about this experience,
yeah.
What did you find most challenging?
Finding out that I was on the edge of death. Red cell count was down, my white cell count was down, my sugar was down, my iron was down, my blood pressure was down. It was bad.
And so, how did this manifest itself?
I just got weaker and weaker, and during these weaknesses, I'd be okay during the day at home, and then I'd just be watching TV at night, and I'd start to get up out of my recliner, and I couldn't. And one night it took me half an hour, and I had to slide down on the floor, which is how I got this abrasion on my head. Hello, abrasion. And then I started getting tremors, and I started running a higher temperature.
How many days?
I had been here once, okay?
Oh, okay.
And
how long ago?
A week ago at this point, I was here for one night, and then I was sent home. These are all approximate figures.
Yeah.
Because the tests didn't really show anything in particular. We all knew we were dealing with some kind of gallbladder issue, but neither CT or sonogram really showed anything clear. And my temperature at that point was not going up, so it didn't seem like it was infected. So I went home, but I really shouldn't have went home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after 2 days, I mean, it's difficult for me to call the ambulance. And the second time was even more, oh, here I am again, guys. Scrape me up, bring the spatula. But I started getting tremors and running a high temperature and terrible weakness, and I called because I still had a brain. It's a good thing I still had a brain.
Yeah.
And I called, and they brought me in again, and everyone concurs. We have what is it? Not unilateral. I don't know. Everybody votes the same way. What do they call that?
Well, you had a clear consensus.
Consensus. We had clear consensus. Unanimous. That was unanimous. Yes. That if I had not come in at that point, I would have died. Because when they finally decided to whip me down to the operating room and open me up, they all apparently said, "Oh my God." And these are people who are used to shit. Because my gallbladder was dead.
Yeah.
And
you said it was gangrenous?
Gangrenous, yes. I was in septic shock, which is very, very, very bad place to be.
Yeah.
So they took it out, and I had the funniest experience. Well, I've had a lot of funny experiences with this, but it's specifically in the operating room, because it's in the basement, and it's very, very, clean and all that, modern, white, cold. And my anesthesiologist was wonderful, and she had already told me that she was going to have to do not a tracheotomy, I don't know, I forget the name of the thing where they put the tubes down your throat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you going to be able to give me some medication to, make me feel more comfortable when you do that?" And she said, "Oh yeah, listen, don't worry about anything." And then I woke up and it was over. I mean, I've had the experience before with, like, when they go up the other end, that they start to give you medication. And they say, "Start counting backwards from 100, Mr. Dodds." And you go 100, nah. There wasn't even time for that. It was just, "Oh, you'll be fine, don't worry." And they were waking me up. And
that's good.
It's all gone well. I've had some exceptional psychedelic and spiritual adventures since the operation. Sleeping the first couple of nights was mainly ventures into other worlds and connections with other beings, and connections several with my wife, who died from dementia and Alzheimer's 4 years ago, which was marvelous. And you know, it's all very woo-woo stuff, but I'm very sympathetic to it, and it was very helpful to me. I felt like I was being taken care of in a very special way.
So were these
and
like,
I needed it.
Were these visions,
Sure.
or were
I
they?
had visions
here in
of
the,
doctors leaning over me and stuff like that, and all kinds of, yeah.
But did you see these people? Was the whole experience visual, or was it just sort of like a thought kind of?
No, it was not just intuitive, it was visual. I'm very much that way. And the funny thing is, I've got a couple of art ideas that I've been struggling with for years. How in the world do I turn these ideas into drawings? And that all clarified.
Really?
I'm ready to go and do those things.
So when you go home, you're going to be able to translate this.
I've got my drawing stuff here, but I just haven't been up to it yet.
Yeah. So describe those experiences a little bit.
It's hard to describe. It was like, it was kind of like sailing out into, I think there's a relation to the Odyssey and the Iliad and things like that. I can't think of the right word now, but mythology, I guess.
Yeah.
It was like that kind of a mythological experience, like I was sailing on a galleon with Odysseus or somebody like that, out to the edge of the world, and where this world and the next world or the other world or whatever the heck it is make contact, especially when you're in that situation. And it was very, very extremely special. It's one reason I wanted to do this, because I don't want to lose track of it, and I want to write it out.
Break that down a little bit with was this a sequence of stories, or was it all that, were they folded together?
That was the interesting thing about it. At least 2 nights in a row, it just continued, and during the day as well, because I was snoozing on and off, and I would just go into that experience again.
Yeah. But it was always while you were sleeping.
Yeah.
It wasn't while you were.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
And so, were the people speaking, or did you hear them speaking, or did you just hear their thoughts, or?
I could kind of hear a murmur in the background, but nobody was trying to have a conversation with me. Yeah. It wasn't "relax, you're okay" or anything like that. That was the feeling, but nobody was explicitly saying that.
And what were the visuals like?
Part of it, you know how they have these things about abductions?
You mean,
alien abductions?
Yeah.
Well, kind of like those experiences, but in a very positive and beautiful way. These were higher beings. I don't want to minimize that. They were from a different level, from a different dimension, from a different whatever.
Did you see them or did you just sense them?
No, I saw them. They were kind of, at some points, at several points, several people were leaning over me. And, you know, there may be some residual stuff from the operation.
Yeah.
But I had very good care, and it was more than just physical care.
Yeah.
And, oh, and also, you know, Lauri did some powerful energy work on me as well, and that, I know that helped me get through this too. So.
What kind of energy work?
Well, it's sort of Reiki, but she's not a professional.
Uh-huh.
And it's just trying to make everything flow smoothly. And wow.
So what did the creatures look like? Were they?
Oh, they look like people.
But were they people you recognized?
Oh
mostly?
No. Except Judy.
Except
I saw Judy several times.
Yeah. And so, what were they? Were they like? They looked like regular people.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, but they were strangers.
Yeah.
And were they male, female?
They were gowned.
Gowned.
Yeah, all that. Hard to tell.
And so they were all kind of like a neuter sort of figure.
No, they weren't neuter by any means, but they were gowned, so it's hard to tell who was who.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they were male and females.
So they were like in like a.
They were in blue gowns, yeah, dark blue gowns.
Dark blue gowns.
Kind of the color of the dark blue on your shirt, yeah.
And did they? So were they always in a group? Were they individuals or?
Well, they weren't always in a group. One guy was leaning very close over my left eye at one point, doing something there, and I was telling him, yeah, please look at my left eye, because you know I have terrible floaters there, and it tends to drip and droop and drip and droop.
Drip and droop.
So see if you can do anything about that.
And so they were mostly offering reassurance?
No, they were doing things.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not just reassurance, it was intervention.
So they were taking physical care of you,
Yes,
not just...
they were. They were, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long, this would go on for hours while you were... No, a day. Yeah.
I have no way to tell.
Yeah. So, was it like a continuous sort of flow of experience, or was it?
Say
like,
that again.
Well, was it like a flow of experience with these people coming and going, or was it like different vignettes, different sort of discrete visits?
It was a flow. Everything about that was a flow, very much.
What do you want to put on this to remember?
Well, I just want to remember all of this because, you know, it's a very frightening, I mean, really, really frightening experience, and sobering. I had a week of working in the yard planned, and I pressure washed the front deck and pressure washed the chairs and painted the table and mowed the lawn and got violently ill.
That'll teach you to do a bunch of cleaning up around the house.
God damn it.
You should have known better.
I should have. And again, you know, I just want to be damn sure that I don't let this just fade away into memory, because it really, really should not. It's really important.
So then describe it a little bit more in detail.
I think that's about all I've got.
So, but were they, you mentioned like a myth-like sense.
Yeah, myth-like, yeah.
And did it take place in like a current time? Did the people seem of?
Well, the people seemed current, yes, but the sense of time was timeless.
Timeless.
Yeah.
And did it involve any like journeys anywhere, or was it all you were always?
Well, I felt
there?
like I was on a journey the whole time, and like I said, there's an old expression in mythology about sailing on wine dark seas, and that's where I was sailing.
But your sense was that you were lying here.
Yeah, yeah.
But you had, so it wasn't like you were getting on a ship and going somewhere.
No, I was lying there, and they were treating me.
And so it was the feelings were of this journey, not actually sort of like leaving the hospital space and going on.
No.
Yeah. So what else would you like to add?
That sounds good for me.
All right, for now.